In this video, we're going to see how to use RANDBETWEEN and the XLOOKUP function in Microsoft Excel to randomly choose an element from a list. So you can see here on the screen, we're going to create a random name generator. And so this random name generator is going to randomly generate names. And this can be useful if you need to present data, but you need to use made up names as opposed to real names. So you have to keep things anonymous and confidential. Or it could also be useful if you have a baby on the way. So we're going to see how to build this in this video. And we're also going to see how to nest one function inside another function. While that's coming up, let's get to it. To build this random name generator, I have these different tables over here with the different elements that people will have in their name. So some people will have a title in their name. Everybody's going to have a first and last name. Some people will have a credential, and then everybody's going to have an email address at some domain. And to choose an element from one of these tables, let's look here first at this first name table. So there are 30 possible first names. And to choose one name randomly out of those 30 names, I'm first going to generate a random number between 1 and 30. And after I've generated a random number between 1 and 30, let's say that number is 7, I'm going to use the XLOOKUP function to look up in this list, in this column, in this array of numbers right here, to look up in that list, that column, that array, the number 7. And when XLOOKUP finds the number 7, it'll return the value associated with number 7, giving me the name Charlotte. So let's see what this looks like in action. So I'm going to come over here to this first name field. I'm going to type the equal sign and then type in XLOOKUP. When you see the function highlighted that you want to use, you could hit Tab on your keyboard and that will accept it. And when you do that, you start working with the function and it brings up here as a tooltip the syntax of the function. So this syntax is really important to pay attention to, particularly when you start working with more complex functions and functions nested within functions. Watching that syntax is going to be greatly helpful. So right now I'm working on the XLOOKUP function, and you can see here the bold argument, the thing that I need to pass into this function now, the value I need to pass in is the value to be looked up. And the value that I want to be looked up is a random number between 1 and 30. And notice as I started putting this function in here, I'm nesting a function inside another function. And when you nest a function inside another function, the functions will evaluate from the inside out. So the innermost functions evaluate first, and then the outermost functions evaluate. And so what's going to happen is RANDBETWEEN 1 and 30 will evaluate first. It'll give me a random number, and then XLOOKUP will use that random number, some number between 1 and 30, to look that number up and find the values. And here, look at the tooltip again. This is also, I want to point this out. This is also important, right? But the tooltip here, as I'm working on RANDBETWEEN, it's showing me, hey, you're working on the RANDBETWEEN function, and right now you're entering the top argument. As soon as I hit that ending paren, you can see it there in the tooltip function. As soon as I hit that ending paren, that tooltip is going to change back to the XLOOKUP function. So watch what happens. I'm going to do it right now. And now I have the tooltip for the XLOOKUP function. And what this tells me is I'm currently working on the value that is going to be looked up by the XLOOKUP function. And that's why that's bold. But as soon as I hit that comma, it moves me to the next value that I need to enter, the next argument I need to give it, which is where do you want to look up this value? I want to look up that random number in this column, this list, this array right here. So you could use those words interchangeably. Column, list, array. So array is nothing more than computer speak for a list of values. And so you could say, hey, this is a list, this is a column, this is an array. So I want to look up that random number in this list of values, this array of values right there. So I give it, where's that value going to be looked up? It's going to be looked up in that range right there. So I'm going to press F4 to hold that reference absolute. And making a reference absolute means as I copy and paste this formula down over these rows, it's always going to absolutely reference these values right here. So it's not going to move the reference relative to where the formula is, but it's going to hold that reference absolute as the formula is pasted down onto additional rows. So that's going to be the place, the array where I look up the value. And the next thing I need to give it is what value do I want returned? And I want these values here in this list, this column, this array right there. I want a value right there returned. And so whatever number's looked up, right, if it's the number 7, return the value from this column right here, this array, this list. And again, I'm going to press F4. Now the last things in this function right here are optional. The last arguments, which is why they are in brackets. Anytime you see an argument, that's what these things are called that you pass into a function. The values you pass into a function are called arguments. Anytime you see an argument in brackets, it means that argument is optional. In a previous video, building up to this video, we looked at the XLOOKUP function in depth, we looked at the documentation, and we also explored each one of these arguments for the function. So if you want to check out that video, there's a link in the description down below for this entire playlist, which is going to build up all of your skills to build this random data generator. So if this is a little bit quick for you and you want to explore those other functions, you can click that link and go watch all the videos in this playlist. So now I'm going to hit my ending paren, and then I'm going to press enter, and it's going to give me my first random name. Up here on the formula ribbon, there's a really cool button, and it's the Calculate Now button. And you can see the shortcut key for the Calculate Now button is F9. So as I press F9, it's going to recalculate all of the formulas on my worksheet. And as I do that, it will give me a new random name. And so you can see here that random names are appearing, and every time I press F9, it's choosing a new random number, and then XLOOKUP is using that random number, looking it up in that lookup column, and then returning the value associated with that column. So that's how that's working. So we're gonna do one more XLOOKUP here, and we're gonna do that for the last name, but because the last name is going to be exactly the same as the first name, the way we do it, I'm going to speed this up and play a little music while I do it. So here we go. So now we have a first name and a last name being randomly chosen. We have Emma Wilson and Harper Martin and Avery Sanchez and Ava Garcia, some pretty nice names, and Avery Lee and Emily Taylor. And so that's how we create the first and last name and randomly choose them from these tables over on the right. In the next video that I create for this YouTube channel, we're gonna take the second step in building our random name generator. And in that video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna give some people a title like Mr. or Mrs., and other people we're not gonna give them a title. And we're gonna make that decision randomly about who gets a title and who doesn't get a title using conditional logic. And the way we do conditional logic in Microsoft Excel is we use the if function or the ifs function. But in the next video, we're gonna use the if function. And what the if function does is it'll make a decision based upon some condition. So if the condition is one thing, if it's if, right, if. If it's one thing, it'll do one thing. And if it's something else, it'll do something else. So we're gonna see how to do that in the next video. If you wanna check out that video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and toggle that little bell, and then you'll be notified when that video comes out. In addition, if there's anything else you wanna learn about technology in Microsoft Excel, leave a comment down below. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. That helps support me. I enjoy making these videos, but it's also how I support my family. So thank you for hitting that like button. I look forward to seeing you next time.